Hello everyone, in this video we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the important concepts from Chapter 6, Section 6.7, determining amounts in increase and decrease situations. Again, this is applying the formulas that we learned, but instead trying to calculate some different type of information. You have different amounts being given to you. So let's take a look at this. If we're trying to figure out the new amount after a percent change, it depends on if we're dealing with an increase or a decrease. So here in the problem that was in your textbook, I'm using that as the example. We're showing an increase, and basically we have to add the percentage to 100. So when you're dealing with an increase, you're taking that 100% and you're adding to it, whether it's, in this example, it's 15%, but whether it's 15%, 25%, whatever the percent may be, you add to that. So that's how we come up with our 115% that you're seeing here. And then what we do is we go ahead and we take the other number that they gave us, the 1,240 claims last year. We're trying to make a prediction as to what it would be for the coming year. So that's our unknown. So basically what we need to do to solve that is we're going to go ahead, we're going to multiply that amount by 1240, but we're not multiplying by percentage. What we need to do is take that percentage, change it to a decimal. If you remember, how do we change to a decimal? We take the percentage sign off, we move the decimal point 2 places, and we end up with 1.15, or 1 and 1500ths. So then we're going to multiply that 1 and 1500ths times 1240 to give us the new amount of 1,426. That's how many claims they're estimating in the new year. So what if we're dealing with a decrease? Let's take a look at that. So sometimes when you're doing these problems, it may be helpful to circle increase so you know if you're adding, or circle decrease to know if you're subtracting, because that's what we're going to do in this one. So when we take a look here, we have our 100 minus whatever percentage the decrease is. In this example, they're anticipating a 25% decrease. There were 380 shakes that were sold in the previous week, so they want to know how many were sold this week. There was a 25% decrease. So again, we have to take that 100 minus the 25 gives us 75%. So they only sold 75% of this week as compared to what they sold last week. So again, what do? We take our percentage now, we go ahead and we change it into a decimal. We take off the percentage point, move the decimal point over 2 places, we get 7500ths, and then we multiply that 7500ths times the amount that we have. It's going to be a smaller amount than our original amount. We end up with 285. So that's something where you can be checking yourself to see if that's making sense. So with increases, we should see an increase in numbers. With decreases, seeing a decrease in the original numbers. So then that's one section from this particular section of the chapter. Here we're going to look at finding the original amount. So this is a little bit different. What we need to do here in the problem that they gave you in your textbook, there was a camcorder that was on sale now for $425, and that represented a 15% drop in price. So they want to know what the original price was. If we had a drop in price, you know the answer has to be higher. So let's see how we go ahead and we solve that. Again, we're dealing with a decrease. So again, we're going to go ahead, we're going to subtract the 15% from the 100, which gives us 85%. So then we're going to go ahead, we take our given amount, that becomes our numerator in this type of problem. Our denominator is the percentage that remains after we do the subtraction, which is 85%, but when we change from 85%, change it into a decimal, it becomes 8500ths. Then again, if you remember, we go ahead and we represent this as division, and I went ahead and kind of did the division here. If you remember, we can't divide with a decimal point here. We have to move it over 2 places. So I moved it over 2 places here, did my math, and we ended up with the amount being 500. So again, it is greater than the 425, it makes sense in the problem. So this video talks about then the important points from this particular section of the chapter.